I'm here with Emily Duggan. Emily is you're the founder of Moms Against the Norm, is that right?
That's right. Yeah.
And you're in British Columbia. How did Moms Against the Norm? I understand you ran for school board trustee last fall, and
Yep.
thank you for that because it's a lot of us stuck our necks out and paid a bit of a price to do it.
Did we ever?
How did you get involved in this issue, gender ideology specifically, and kind of how long have you been aware and working on it?
So I actually found out about SOGI and gender ideology when I ran for school board trustee. I had never heard of SOGI 123 or the resource guide before. Um, and once I found out about it, it was a bit of a process to understand what it was and accept that it was real because I was in disbelief. I couldn't believe that some of the literature that is being promoted and used is being promoted and used, but there it is. So once I realized it was real, I got talking with other community members, other parents, and realized that it wasn't common knowledge. I was not alone in not knowing what SOGI was. And so a couple moms and I got together and we basically said, like, okay, well, this is a problem. We need to solve it. We need to share awareness on what this program is so that parents can get involved because people don't know. If people knew, there would be a conversation about it. So originally, that's why we started Moms Against the Norm, to share awareness on what SOGI 123 is. And we've been doing it for the last year successfully. And I'd say that we've been very successful in our goal of sharing awareness in not just our area, but also across British Columbia. And Canada with what's going on with SOGI. We've been a piece of that puzzle, and we're quite proud of that.
Wow, terrific. So what has been some of your experience in terms of pushback that you've had for the work that you're doing?
I've had a lot of pushback from community members, from administrations, legal pushback. I just recently this week received legal paperwork from a law firm regarding a video that I had posted on our Rumble page, um, basically trying to bully me into silence, which I'm not going to do. What happens in public education should absolutely be public information, and that's all that we are doing is we are taking real life situations that are happening in our schools across British Columbia, and we're putting it on a platform for the masses to be able to see. Because what's going on in our schools, in our public schools, the public should know about. There should be no secrets. This business of secrets at school has got to stop. And as long as teachers are going to be promoting secrets in schools, Moms Against the Norm will be sharing those secrets with the public.
Yeah, yeah, it's only in the last couple of months that we've really realized across the country where parents actually stand on the issue of secrets and Canadians at large, right? It's close to 80% oppose keeping secrets from parents around social transition. What's it like? I've talked to some people in Kelowna and Kamloops, where the numbers of trans-identified kids are quite startling for people. Are you seeing that in the schools in your region?
Oh, yes. And not just with trans identifying students, but we've also got students that are identifying as furries in the West Kootenays. It's an identity crisis, really, is what we're witnessing. And it's exponential over here as well. We're in a hot pocket over in the West Kootenays. Yeah, definitely.
So what has the response been from the current school boards and administration to the work that you're doing, your attempts to raise awareness, trying to engage with them?
Well, where I live, I'm right on the border of two school districts, and one school district we have pretty good open communication with. And they're willing to meet with us. And they email back and forth with us. We have a really good open line of communication, and we're really happy with that. That's our goal with all the school districts. The other school district that we're on, not so much. They're not so keen to work with us, and not so keen on the videos that we post. So that was the district that I just got legal paperwork from, stating that the district has concerns with the content on one of the videos that I've posted.
Yeah.
So they're more apt to spend taxpayer dollars to try to intimidate a parent into silence rather than spend taxpayer dollars to work with the parents of their community.
Yeah. Now, Emily, we met several months ago on other Zoom calls. We've never met in person.
Right.
I seem to remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were talking about being in public and feeling discomfort in public from, am I remembering that right?
Yeah.
Dealing with people in the community who are, well, what kind of experiences have you had in that area?
Well, I've received hate mail. I've been spat at in the grocery store with my kids with me and called vulgar names. People, if I'm walking on the street and people recognize me, they'll honk their horn and finger me. People walk past my property and throw their dog crap over my fence. I've had people drive to my house, leave their crying child in their car at the end of my driveway, videotape me through my gate while they yell at me that I am a bully. I've had, my whole family has been threatened, and I've had to have safety plans put in place for my children, for my child to go to and from school. Yeah, it's been heavy.
Yeah. I empathize with that because I've been through a few rounds of it. Both you and I ran for school board trustee, and I've been mobbed a couple times online because I was identified kind of as an individual, and then been dogpiled, not just by other people in my community, but internationally. And it's kind of a terrifying experience.
It's incredibly terrifying for me when it happens when I'm out in public with my children, because it's one thing if I'm by myself, but when I have my kids with me, my main concern is their safety. And I'm blown away at people's behavior when children are present. And each time I'm a little bit less shocked because unfortunately I'm starting to get used to it, which is so weird. But yeah, it's, for me, that's the worst part, is when it happens when my children are with me, because not just to physically protect them, but also like this is emotionally damaging to them as well when they see strangers treat their mom like that. So yeah, if any of my opposition is watching, if you could stop doing that in front of my kids, I'd really appreciate that.
Yeah, well, it seems it's going around, eh? And I think that was the gist of the criticism that you received, was that it resulted in a teacher in a school being, receiving some hate from the community, or getting communications from people because of the video that you released.
That's right. CBC did a 15-minute segment on that situation. I released a video. It's on my Rumble page. You can find it on Sharon Inkpen, a grade 9 teacher in Nelson, British Columbia. And all I did was, it was basically like an editorial piece. I just shared what happened in her classroom with the public. And CBC picked up the story, did a 15-minute segment on how she's afraid to go to the grocery store, on how her feelings are, the effects that it has had on her. And out of that entire 15-minute segment, not one word on why a video was created about that teacher. Not one word about what that teacher did to cause that sort of attention to be focused on her. And to me, that's a red flag. And I really hope it was a red flag for other people, because yes, I did create a video about a teacher and I shared her actions with the public. And for the mainstream media to report on the video that I created, but not the action that the teacher took, I think is very telling on many levels.
What grade was this teacher again?
Grade 9.
Grade 9. Yeah. Grade 9, I think, is the worst year for everybody in school. It was my worst year when I was in school. My kids all going through grade 9. It's like, okay, look, that's the trouble year. So it's what a lot of, we're going through big transitions. Puberty is, like is setting in for most of us in some stage or another, and a real challenge. So the teacher, from what I understand or recall, had given a worksheet to the class about gender pronouns and about keeping secrets from parents and what you can tell and what you can't tell. Is that right?
Yeah, it was like the beginning of school get to know you form that she handed out to the class with the instructions to give back to her. So the sheet was never intended to come home. And the questions on the sheet were, what are your preferred pronouns? But they went even further to say, can I use your preferred pronoun with your home adult rather than parent or guardian, home adult? And then if the answer is no, what is the preferred pronoun? So while the sheet never specifically said, I will keep a secret for you, or I will deceive your
Well,
parents
it's
for you,
asking
it
if you need, if
certainly,
you want to keep it secret, right? Yeah.
yeah, it certainly insinuated that, and that is definitely the meaning of the form. And so, as a parent myself, and I'm sure you would agree, that as soon as another adult is encouraging deception or secrecy, it's like your spidey sense go up. Well,
As it
why? Hang
should.
on a
Yeah.
minute. And so, I was approached by many families of that school in regards to that teacher's actions specifically, and felt like, you know what? I think that our community should know that this is the kind of stuff that's going on in our local schools because this is a public institution. So everything that happens there should be public knowledge. And to me, that's just a no-brainer.
Yeah. It's more and more people are becoming aware of this. I don't know what teachers are going to do, whether, they're doubling down, because we've had almost a year, like the New Brunswick issue with Blaine Higgs, the secret keeping really came to public knowledge because of what he was doing early in the year, promising to end um, these clauses in policies. It's called Policy 713 in New Brunswick in education. And then we had other provinces picking it up. There was conversation in Manitoba. Saskatchewan's made changes. We've had recent changes here in Ontario, and your phoenix of a conservative party rising from the ashes in BC is starting to hold your unelected premier accountable to these things, and the conversation is starting. So what we're seeing, and I guess this teacher too, is a doubling down by some teachers, by unions, and by administrators in the school system on keeping the secrets, um, and it's really causing a lot of concern for parents. What's next for you,
Absolutely.
Emily? What are you looking at? We're coming up to the end of 2023. Do you have projects that you're working on? Of course, you don't want to give give your tactics away, but what are some of your objectives for the coming year?
Well, our big next goal coming up is to simply empower parents and guardians in British Columbia to give them the confidence and the knowledge to be able to enter these conversations effectively. So we're looking at coming up with resources for them, talking points for them, and just being able to hand the information over to them in the easiest way possible. We understand right now the economy is crap. Everybody is working triple time just to put food on the table. They've really got us backed up into a corner here. So really our mission is to just make it as easy as possible for families to get in the know, and then to help empower them with confidence to be able to have the conversations, because we believe that we've come to a time and place where now it's up to the parents to take control. Now it's time for the real work to happen. And what we see when we look around is parents and guardians who are at a loss for words. Literally, they don't know what to say about all of this.
Yeah.
They don't know how to approach it. They have no idea how to start the conversation. I have been saying, and I'll say it again, that for the most part, I believe that people are good. And the way that they have set up this queer theory, gender ideology, SOGI resource guide, they have set it up with the idea that it is good. And so people don't want to oppose good. And so we're just trying to help share that while inclusiveness and diversity are good, the way that our administrations are going about it in our public institutions is not good. And we can still be inclusive and diverse and accepting of all different people without being forceful, without being deceptive, without stepping on other people's rights. And I think I know that is our next goal, is to just give parents and guardians the tools they need to be able to jump into the conversation and be a part of it.
Amazing. Thanks so much for your time today. I've been speaking with Emily Duggan from the West Kootenays in British Columbia, a founder of Moms Against the Norm.
Yep.
Thank you for all the work that you're doing, and we'll keep in touch. I will be very interested to learn about developments coming in your area and the work that you're doing. And I hope you have a terrific rest of your weekend.
Thank you so much. You too, Shannon.